Welcome back to the Capes and Tights podcast right here on capesandtights.com. I'm your host, Justin Soderberg. Once again, this episode is brought to you by our friends over at Galactic Comics and Collectibles at galacticcomicsandcollectibles.com. This episode is our Christmas movie review episode featuring Paul Eaton from Galactic Comics and Collectibles talking Jingle All The Way from 1996. This movie stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad, Phil Hartman, Rita Wilson, Robert Conrad, Jim Belushi, and Anakin Skywalker himself, Jake Lloyd. It came out in 1996, like I said before. So we discussed this. We talked to consumerism of Christmas, Christmas gifts, and so much more right here on the Capes and Tights podcast. But before you listen, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, and so many more places. Also, rate, review, subscribe on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Check our YouTube channel out. As always, visit capesandtights.com for so much more information, content, reviews, items, and so much more. So this is a Christmas movie review for Jingle All The Way with Paul Eaton of Galactic Comics and Collectibles right here on Capes and Tights. Enjoy, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Whoa.
Paul Eaton, Galactic Comics and Collectibles. Dude, first of all, I want to say those people who are watching, Paul's got a great setup behind him now. And it's not, the funny thing about it is it's not, no one's going to care on here, but if you go into the shop, you'll notice that it's a lot better in there. Not better. It's no,
I think better is a good word.
Yeah. Well, we just
improved the flow of the store, and I think the product setting is better placed. And use space more wisely while we're in the space we have.
Yeah.
Like, we took that 800 square feet, and I think it feels more like 1,500 now, instead of being in 800 square feet and it feeling like you were in 300.
Well, I mean, it's also when we just repainted at Orno Brewing Company, we just repainted the mural on the wall after 6 years of it being there. And it doesn't seem that long. Like 6 years is not long for a mural to be on a wall. Like it seems like you do that for the long-term thing. But it was just one of those things. Let's spice things up. Let's change things up. Let's just do some refreshing. And even that amount of doing in a store when you've been in your store for a number of years now, it's like, okay, just press the reset button and change some things around. And I think it turned out extremely well. And everybody's come in and been like, wow. Some people who don't like change are like, what the hell are you doing? But other than that, I think people are loving it.
All the one person, it's like, oh, things are moved. I'm not comfortable with this. Everyone else is like, this is so much better. And it's Garrett. Yeah. It's Garrett. Everyone else is so much better. It's funny. The first day I worked in the new setup, I felt like I was working in a completely different store.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so wacky because the way we reset the counter space and stuff is in an area of the store I'd never really been, like, I never stood in. Like, I was always in my little one section. So it was totally weird. Facing a different way.
Instead of facing the air conditioner, you're facing the new comics. It's like, you're looking out the window. You're actually facing the customers as they walk in instead of facing like
this weird angle.
Yeah.
This makes a lot more sense. So
it's great. So if anybody check it out, 547 Hammond Street, Bangor, Maine. There's a little pitch there for you.
Whoa, there we go.
Paul
Christmas
Eaton.
season is here.
It is here. Buy your gifts for your loved ones. They want comics. I tell you that right now, or Pokemon cards. They want those.
Or magic cards or whatever else is here.
Here's the deal. There's probably a comic book, and this is like not even a joking pitch, but there's probably a comic book or a graphic novel of some sort of adaptation of something that is for your family member. They may not be into comics. I'm going to pitch one right now. That is called The Road. It's by Cormac McCarthy, who wrote the Road novel. Which is an award-winning novel. He's a Pulitzer Prize-winning author.
Yeah, I've seen this book.
There's also a movie adaptation of it. This is a graphic novel adaptation that's by, I believe, Abrams. Yeah, Abrams Comic Arts. That is very, if you're a father, and this is a really good one for a father or getting for a father. I bought this for my dad for his birthday in October, the beginning of October, and sent it to him. But this book is phenomenal. It's black and white. Or like grayscale thing. It's a story, a post-apocalyptic story about a father and a son trying to survive. But that's what my point is. Like, my dad doesn't read comics on the regular, but he loved this. I remember 3 years ago, I bought him the Elvis graphic novel. Book. So I feel like there's something out there that is a adaptation or something. I know they just did Dante's Inferno adaptation and all that stuff. So I think there's things out there for people that if you comics. I
A
jokingly
friend
say
of mine,
comics are for everybody, but like
but they
it's
really
true.
are. A friend of mine is not into the comic scene, comic world at all, but they have all of these adaptations of famous literature, like great literature, and she loves those.
Mhm.
Like oh my God, any like the Charles Dickens work or Jane Austen, Jane Eyre. She's read that. She has that one. Like there's all these different like famous literary works that are now being done in a graphic novel form, and she just loves them. So
I want
yeah,
to see
there's
more of it. I want to see the more current stuff. We went to the Keith Rosen, Joe Hill conversation at Book Space by Briar Patch a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about adaptations of movies and stuff like that. But I was like, I want to see more novel adaptations that are going into comic book form, so you get to see the visualizations of it. Like, they're always trying to get in movies or TV, but like, I just want to see the visualization of the book that you're reading. And
I
so
think
whether
some
it's
things might
TV
be
or comics, I think comics would be great for some of these.
yeah, I think some things would be like the media would transfer easier into comics than you try to have it on a big screen and see it. Like some things just don't work as well when you put it on television.
I also want to see things like Jingle All the Way. I want to see the Turbo Man
You
comic.
want to Jingle All the Way?
No, but I don't want
comic?
Jingle All the Way. I want a Turbo Man comic. Like,
Turbo
why
Man?
wouldn't you?
Turbo Man.
Do you think that? So we're gonna get into to Jingle All the Way here, our movie review, and it seems kind of weird. Even when I was making the graphics for this, I was like, why are we doing Jingle All the Way? But it's a superhero character.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a meta.
That, right?
We're a meta thing here. We're doing Christmas movie, but it's like there's not, honestly, it's really weird to say, there's not a lot of holiday Christmas style superhero movies or
you review the Guardians of the Galaxy one, and that's basically it, really. I mean,
and then if you think there's like other ones, like Iron Man 3 has like Christmas in it and that kind of thing. So this is actually like it fits all things on it. But
yeah, there isn't a lot of stuff for it. Like we're not going to see him review Simpsons Christmas episodes.
Do you think that if Jingle All the Way came out in 2024, 25, that there would be a companion comic book?
I think there's a possibility of it. Like, why not like crossbreed it? So way back, like when did this movie release?
1996, November 22nd, 1996.
Okay. So they were saying like they didn't have a lot of time to like cross promote this, but there was a very small batch of Turbo Man figures made back then. And as far as collectible market goes, those things are stupid rare. And like in the toy market, it's like in the toy collectors, there's a lot of people out there that like just want one. They want to put it out for a Christmas decoration. They want to like have it. But then they sadly, in the way of toys now, Walmart re-released them like a couple years ago. So it made the original ones not quite as special as they were because there were so few of them, like few and far between. Like if you went to a toy show and saw one, it was like a holy grail piece of like, oh my God, a Turbo Man.
You waited in line?
This is just like the actual movie hunting for them.
I mean, where does this like movie sit in the pantheon of Christmas movies? I don't like, it's such a weird one. I think it's like people seen it, but it's never been like, I mean, it's not highly rated, guys. Just to let you know.
Yeah, this surprised me.
The critics is 21%. 21%.
I have watched this movie, I don't know how many times. Like every Christmas we watch Jingle All the Way. It's always in our like list of movies to watch. The girls always think it's fun. And it surprised me to go look through reviews of it and find out it was really not well received. And then like some of the critic points I do get, I totally understand. But overall I take this for what it is. It's a fun Christmas movie. Like it gives you a little bit of something different. You still get the Christmas vibe. You totally have had that feeling of trying to find the perfect gift that you can't find. And it takes a little knock at like what commercialism is now and like the craziness, like the Tickle Me Elmos. When those came
Tickle
out.
Me Elmos and the Care Bear, because Care Bears were the like the
Cabbage
beginning.
Patch Kids originally.
Sorry, Cabbage Patch Kids. I'm sorry.
Yeah, originally Cabbage Patch Kids like were insane. And then like I remember the Tickle Me Elmo one was like nuts. I got a Cabbage Patch Kid as a kid for Christmas and I had no idea what it was. My grandmother like had to get me one because it was the big rare toy, right? And she found me Paul. So I had my Paul Cabbage Patch Kid and I was like, okay. Like I don't know.
And then it wasn't a Furby. It was a Furby one was too. It was a
Furby. Furby was a huge one. Yeah. And they were like, it was like that episode of The Office where Dwight was selling all the dolls. The Furbies were like getting flipped. People were meeting up in like back alleys for Furbies.
I know we've had like waiting in line.
They had that great scene with the Santa Clauses. Like You're just a bunch of con men.
I know we've had a lot of waiting in line for things like video game systems and things like that over the years, but
Yep.
like, do you think the most current one is the Wii? Like the Wii one, there was a Wii Christmas, like a Christmas, a
Oh,
Wii Christmas, but like
yeah, that was like the thing that
that
everyone
was the
had to
thing
have.
for one Christmas that it was like it was so hard to get at the time when
Yeah,
someone got one.
probably.
Because
What
I mean,
PS? When did PS5s drop? Was that
those
that
are
was like pre-Christmas, right? That really wasn't.
it's usually like in the summer. So I think they try on purpose to get it away from possibly to get that big rush to get people to
Right.
buy
And
it,
then
and then
get a
if they can
second
refill
rush.
stock and have it be for the
Yeah, and
Christmas
you get a
season.
second rush for
Yeah.
Christmas season. And then usually I feel like at Christmas time, the big systems will come out like as a bundle package that wasn't available before. You can get the video game
Mhm.
with it, or you can get whatever, or special skins on the system or whatever. So that makes sense now. Why not get a double push for the product? But yeah, we might have been like the last big
One
thing. And
like this, yeah.
it's different now. Like, so my oldest, so all right, growing up, I remember going Black Friday shopping with my family as a just a fun thing. It wasn't like this crazy, like we were never looking for something specific or whatever. It was more of a like going out and like starting Christmas. It was like the kickoff. And now that we're older, like my wife and I did it for years. Liz and I would go Black Friday shopping, and we don't really bother anymore. But now Charlie wants to. Charlie's like reaching the age. She's like, "Oh, I want to do it. I want to see it." But it's not what it used to be. Like the store's open, and like a lot of them don't open at midnight anymore. Most of them like now open at like 6 a.m.
Mhm.
And like there's no lines. No one cares. You just order all this stuff online.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost Cyber Monday is probably reaching a bigger one where you're sitting there waiting for the drop on Amazon than it is to like go to like Target or Walmart or whatever your
Mhm.
big box stores and sit out there. Like, why bother freezing
Right.
your ass off anymore?
Yeah, exactly. I think it is. I think it's the truth. And I think there's like
Gone.
just,
It's
I
one
don't,
of those things that they're still trying to hype, but it's not there anymore.
it's also you have more information nowadays. I feel like you can research things and see things on the internet where it was like it almost was like the lack of information you got made it more enticing. So like
Yeah, it was
not
more
knowing
interesting.
much about this
We
thing,
used
like
to
the
go
day I
out
didn't
and get the newspaper on
yeah.
Thanksgiving
Yep.
Day, and that was like one of the like things Liz and I would do.
You
Is sit there
circle it
flip
and that's
through the
all you know
flyers,
about
yeah,
it.
and pass them. And yeah, that was how
Yeah.
I knew. Now it's like it's all online. Hell, most of it starts like a week or two before even. There's like the stores already have the stuff out. Just like I don't know, it's gone. And it's
Well,
funny because this movie's like major piece of the plot line is
yes.
that Christmas shopping rush that sort of doesn't exist. It is pre-technology. Like he has to go get the payphone,
And he
and his
doesn't
wife
know
doesn't
about
know
it.
where the
Like
hell he
that's
is or what he's doing.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, the character Arnold Schwarzenegger plays, doesn't really know about the character in the first place. Like he is an absentee dad in that sense. Like he's definitely a workaholic and all that stuff. But still, I think that with the modern technology of internet and stuff like that, like most people know what the hot things are
God.
because it's in their face.
Like the whole thing of like his wife being like, "Oh, you got the doll, right?" Like he would have just ordered this at work online one day, or he would have just had his assistant do it. He's got the assistant there holding up the sign in the beginning of the movie, like you're gonna be late and you got to go, and like he would have just had her do it. Like this whole thing, the whole movie wouldn't have taken place if we were in the modern internet age.
Just ordered on eBay and got it. Yeah.
Done.
Done. So here's I was quickly Googling this. It's a really hard thing to get because Googling hard to find Christmas gifts just like gives you Christmas presents that are like unique. But so Cabbage Patch Kids was 1983. That was the big one where it was like the tremendous demand. Then followed by in 1985 was Teddy Ruxpin.
Oh God, Teddy Ruxpin. Yeah.
Yep. And then it was in 1996, which was the same year this came out, was Tickle Me Elmo.
So this should have been perfectly timed for people that were living in this world, trying to find the Tickle Me Elmo. That stupid thing.
And then in 1997 was the Tamagotchi.
Oh yeah, Tamagotchis. All right.
And there were in 2009 there was a Zuzu Pets. Never heard of it. Don't even know. Have no idea.
I almost think the girls have one of those, but I don't know.
The Wii in 2006. Yeah, that was one we just mentioned. And then Furby in 98.
Yep. I remember the Furby craze.
Transformers N Plus 1984. I don't know. It just says N Plus. It's a picture. It looks like it just looks like a picture of Optimus Prime, but
weird. I mean, and here I am, the Transformer guy.
Yeah, I know. 1992 was Talk Boy because of
Home Alone. Yeah. All right.
obviously it was Beanie
Home
Babies
Alone
at one
2.
point too, but
Yeah.
yeah. So, but those are like those all make sense. But that's the big thing about this thing is too like the fun. Every Christmas movie that's out there has this like you feel it resonates with you in a certain way. Like the
Yeah.
idea that Christmas Vacation is about the family coming over and the uninvited person and da 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 da. You know, you
Trying
have
to live under one roof.
yes, you have all your
Your
Santa Claus, different Santa
in-laws.
Claus
You,
stories and stuff like that. Like
yep.
you have people with like two split homes, divorced parents. Like I think the Santa Claus has that like
Yep.
dropping parents off with Tim Allen, you know, that kind of thing. There's all
Yep.
these movies that resonate with people, and this one resonates with people with shopping. And I think
Yeah.
that with Christmas shopping, that's a little different than everything else. The guy who wrote this movie, Randy Kornfield, really didn't do anything else. It's a very weird thing. Directed by Brian Levant, who did some random like TV movies and like some random things. But the producer of this movie, Paul, was Christopher Columbus, not that one. The movie
Oh.
Christopher Columbus.
Oh.
Not the one that, you know, sailed the seven seas or whatever.
Right.
You
Right.
know.
Right.
He was the writer of Gremlins, The Goonies.
Oh.
Okay. He
Love Gremlins.
directed Home Alone, Mrs. Doubtfire, Harry Potter
Oh,
1 and
wow.
2, Christmas of the Cranks. He wrote,
Wow.
directed, and produced the Christmas Chronicles 2, which he produced the first one.
Yeah.
But he was the original director for Christmas Vacation, but he left the shooting due to personality conflict with Chevy Chase, said that Chevy Chase treated Christopher Columbus like dirt. And so he left that movie.
I've heard that Chevy Chase is really hard to
Yeah,
work with.
yeah.
Like,
But so
over
like
and
he's
over.
like honestly to me he's like one of the godfathers of Christmas movies, Christopher Columbus.
Yeah,
because
really,
he has
like,
this
that's it.
Home Alone, Christmas of the Cranks, the Christmas Chronicles, again attached to Christmas Vacation, kind of thing. So this movie has this like thing, and then you talk about the cast, Paul. Like the cast of this movie is like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad, Phil Hartman, Rita Wilson, Jim Belushi, and
Yeah.
then the greatest character, and this is for Zach in our book club, Jake Lloyd. Jake Lloyd, the kid, plays Anakin Skywalker in the Phantom Menace.
Ugh.
No, it's so funny because I
knew I didn't
remember
like
looking
this
that
kid.
up when I reviewed the Phantom
I knew I
Menace.
didn't like this kid.
And I was like, what's funny about it? Now go back and watch it again. If anybody didn't know that was the same character and watch it, it's freaking Anakin Skywalker as a kid in this. Like it's like the identical acting, the way he talks, the way he whines, all that stuff is the exact
Yeah.
same.
My
than
God,
it
you
is.
know, it's funny. I didn't even put those two together, and I just thought that the kid is sort of annoying through the whole movie. Yeah, now I know why. That adds up. Like when he gets on the phone there, and he's like carrying on and on and on, and Arnold's like, "Put your mother on the phone," and he's going on. Turbo Man says, "It's like, oh God, kid, shut up."
Well, think about it. It's 3 years later. So someone in the Star Wars like the legacy people went to casting and they're like, oh, you know that kid that was in Jingle All The Way? He should play Anakin Skywalker.
I just found our Anakin Skywalker. Man,
Like I don't like. It's just the weirdest
hard
thing.
to
And
believe that this obnoxious little snot grows up to be Darth Vader. I don't know if I buy this, but
how about here's a question for you. What's more crazy, that the main character in this movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger, becomes the governor of California, or that Jake Lloyd goes on to play Anakin Skywalker in the Star Wars?
and it's really tough.
Oh,
I
and
just
then
kept waiting for
Sinbad,
Predator
man.
to show up. Like that would have made the movie so much more interesting.
Oh, that seems like it would have been like a Simpsons episode.
while he's hunting for the toy, he's also fighting the Predator off. Just constantly hunting.
But yeah, so
Like-
Sinbad was great. The next door neighbor dad, who just like is like macking on all the neighborhood women.
God. Yeah, every like single mom in the neighborhood, and he's like targeting Schwarzenegger's wife.
He's like the kid's like, oh, my dad wasn't normally like this until he got divorced from my mom.
Yeah, my dad wasn't like this until he got divorced. Maybe your parents should get a divorce. My dad's so much happier.
Oh, it was great. And that's the
Oh
thing
my
about
God,
this movie.
he's
It just there's this
so,
it's
like,
it's
Phil Hartman
stupid
is
funny.
so obnoxious in this movie. He's like the neighbor, like you just want to strangle him. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, oh, you should put some chains around those tires. It might get icy. He's like, I'll put some chains around you.
It's like, what'd you say?
Wait, what?
And then they get off at
Got
like
that
the
stupid
comments.
reindeer.
The comments that were taken wrong. Like, yeah, he's out there petting. He's out there petting. What's his name? The guy's name. Like,
Ted.
Yeah, he's like, you what?
Yeah. And, oh, these cookies. You
So,
put those cookies down.
And that's the
I
thing.
don't know.
So, like,
I don't understand. Like, all right, so I agree with the critic side of it, saying like the beginning of it is great on having like a standard plot, like
Yeah.
great, and it's like funny, and then it gets like slapstick and stupid at the end, almost like they didn't know how to finish it. And it's funny because I've always taken this movie for what it is. Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
And I guess now looking at it, I'm like, yeah, okay, I see that. It is really almost like two different, drastically different movies. But overall, like I just think this is like a fun Christmas movie. I was surprised to have it had such bad reviews.
Well, you also have this problem nowadays with it when you have holiday themed movies. I think it's the same thing nowadays with DC movies or Marvel movies or comic book themed movies or
Yeah.
comic book related movies. Is that they relate them to everything that's in its genre. So it's like I don't feel like comedies as a whole, when you put out a
Mm,
comedy film, it's not like they go, but compared to all the rest of comedies, it's this.
right.
It's like when it has that Christmas moniker on it, when it's a Christmas movie, I feel like immediately people are like, it's no Christmas Vacation. It's
Right.
no, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Oh, it doesn't have enough. It doesn't have enough feeling or whatever, or enough depth. And I'm like, this is not really the point of this movie.
And that's my question. So I like the movie, right? So I think it's a fun movie. And here's the deal. There's not many Christmas movies that I don't like. Like it's not like I don't hate
Yeah.
many Christmas movies.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
just it's because of that thing. It's the nostalgic. It's the time of the year. It's just that
Yeah,
whole idea of
exactly.
like curling up watching a movie.
Yeah, I'll watch a
But
bad Christmas movie.
do you think this would have been better to be more serious than it was comedy? Like the idea that
Oh,
it's hard to find this toy and heartwarming.
no, I think you would agree. Like, if this ended in like this big like weep fest with Arnold and little Annie here about like how dad tried his best and didn't come through, and or like whatever, the spirit of Christmas is not the gift or whatever. Like, I think this movie probably would have bombed, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, instead, it just continues on in this track of being sort of lighthearted and stupid.
Yep.
So, like, it's fine. Why not? Like, yeah, I don't know that I probably like. I don't think this would be as enjoyable if it ended in this whole
Yeah.
big, deeper meaning to Christmas story than just being what it is.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger at the time was like, that was the funny part about it, like the whole idea that he was. But I don't think they played too hard into the fact that Arnold Schwarzenegger just seemed like a normal dude. Like they didn't
Yeah,
use
they,
him in the
I
joking.
I love that. Like, and the Phil Hartman in it was like he says things about like, oh, you're not gonna bench press your way out of this
Mm.
one. Like all this and that, that like it points to the fact that it's Arnold Schwarzenegger and he's this like powerhouse giant guy. But overall, he's like this regular, everyday kind of dad trying to do his thing. And like I think we all sort of can relate a little bit to that at least.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's the thing. So as dads, that's another thing that I saw this year watching it, or even potentially last year when I watched it, was that this year watching it, you had that future. Like obviously, my son doesn't have that many things that he's like, you got to get me that for Christmas. But
Right.
there's gonna be that time, and I think that seeing that changed some viewing of it too. Like I think just
Yeah.
emotionally, being a father changed that, and like wanting to do the best for your kid, and the line at the end also being married, but the line at the end when it closes the movie, spoiler everybody, this movie came out 30 years ago, when she's like, well, you did all this effort to get your son a toy, what'd you get me?
Look on his face. I think if they had gone right into the next Christmas, having a sequel to that, if him being like trying to figure out what he was getting his wife,
like it
I
could have
would've
been
watched
that
it.
night. It could have
Fun.
literally been like
Yeah, been the
at
same
midnight
evening.
trying like it could have been
Yeah.
a movie that was based around 6 hours where he's just trying to get there before the morning, before people wake up.
Yeah, scrambling,
And
getting out of bed and trying to keep her asleep, and then booking it out of the house. And you could have like news articles in the back about like the parade earlier and like
that
was
would
it
be a sequel
Marlon
they could do
getting
now. I
arrested?
feel like figuring you don't have to do Arnold Schwarzenegger. You could even do a different person, not Larry the Cable Guy, but you could do a different person and do the sequel, or have it be the kid, not Jake Lloyd, because I don't think Jake Lloyd's acting anymore, but have
Right.
someone else be like a kid grown up and have it be the kid now has to do this this
Redo
thing
the
with the
whole
modern
thing.
technology. That
Yeah.
would have been great. I honestly have not seen Jingle All the Way 2 with Larry the Cable Guy, but I
Me either.
imagine it's not good.
I would lean towards that. Yeah, I've never seen it either, and I sort of feel like I'm all set. Like I'm probably good.
So here's a comparison on how the movie was made in 2014. It's the sequel. So you're talking 20 years
long
later, right?
time.
18 years
Yeah.
later. This movie, Jingle All the Way, the first one, released in November 22nd, 1996 for $75 million budget, which honestly for a Christmas movie is pretty high in 1996.
Yeah, I mean, this
Like
has
75 million.
you got to figure it's got a pretty solid cast, and then like the special effects, especially the end, but even like the scenes of the Turbo Man TV show that they show repeatedly, like, yeah, it makes sense. This movie was not, and I don't feel like it was cheaply done. The special effects still they're goofy, but they're supposed to be, so they are what they are.
According to this random website I found, which makes it 100% legit and real.
It's gotta be. You can't have it on the internet if it's not real.
The $175 million budget in 1996 would actually be $150 million budget in 2024. $150 million to make a movie like this. So that's my point, is that, you ready for this? In 2014, $5 million to make Larry the Cable Guy's Jingle All The Way 2. So if that says anything.
So in today's money, that's like $40. Like,
well, 2014, it would have been $113 million to make the movie we saw. So $5 million in 2014 to make the sequel to this movie. And I imagine it's not good.
Comparison wise, it looked more like they were filming Clerks, probably. Like, all right, guys, we gotta do this as cheap as we can. We never leave the one place. They're just in a Walmart, like, recording. They have to cut out the scene of the manager trying to throw him out.
Wow. But yeah, so I imagine it's not good, Paul. I just saying that right now.
I'm a little bit like, all right, I kind of want to watch this thing.
I'm just trying to think of what it is. It was produced by WWE Studios, by the way.
Oh God, this has got to be killer then. It has to be good.
Promotion, truck driver completes. I don't know. I guess I'll have to watch it this year. I haven't seen it yet,
I think it's going on. It's going on the list.
Yeah. Okay.
This is like you're falling asleep at night and you're like, oh, I'll throw this on.
I'll put this on. You're doing the dishes. You're making food. You just have it on in the background. But no. So the cast, I said, that was phenomenal for what it was. And in 1996, a lot of those people like Sinbad was huge on the stand-up comedy and acting scene. Yep. Arnold Schwarzenegger, you talked about Phil Hartman, Rita Wilson, Jim Belushi. Are you kidding me? Jim Belushi is phenomenal. And so all of that.
I mentioned you get the Big Show. The Giant. The WCW heavyweight champion.
Yeah, and then that no one cares about.
What?
The other thing is, did you see? Again, this is a comic book and pop culture podcast. Did you see the wallpaper in the kid's bedroom? Captain America.
Yeah, it's sick. That kid's bedroom's awesome.
Yeah.
Kidding me? He's got like the Hulk coming out of the wall and stuff. Yeah. There's all kinds of cool stuff.
Speaking of Sinbad, I wrote a little note down here. How about Sinbad's like breakdown moment where he's talking as a mail carrier and he's like complaining about all the different shit in the world, how he's a dad and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, dude, this guy's speaking the truth.
And I the best
preach
part,
it, man. Preach it.
Family Christmas movie. He's like, and you gotta pay alimony to a woman who slept with everybody at the post office but me.
I'm just thinking to myself, like, I'm like over here, hallelujah, man, hallelujah, speak the truth.
Like, we watched this every year with the kids, the family Christmas movie. There's this guy talking about his wife sleeping with everyone but him.
I've never liked Sinbad as a character, as an actor. I always thought his character's really weird, but I honestly loved him in this movie. And the fact that he just keeps on, you thought maybe at the beginning of the movie you saw Sinbad's character when he's waiting in line at the first store that Arnold Schwarzenegger goes to, and you see him behind him in the mail carrier, you're like, oh, this is kind of a cool character, and then you never see him again. And honestly, if it wasn't Sinbad, I would have truthfully thought from the beginning that you never saw him again. But they're not bringing in Sinbad for 3 lines in a movie, and then that's it. And then he kept on coming back everywhere he'd go. He'd be there.
Yeah, driving him nuts, which I feel like is funny. So doing the whole Black Friday shopping thing, I definitely feel like that happens. Like you're standing in line and it's like 4 a.m. and you're waiting for Best Buy to open. These people behind you are annoying as hell and they keep trying to talk to you. And then you get into Best Buy, you get what you came for, and you're like, all right, let's head to the next store. And then there are those people again, and you're like, and then they're always the same people that are always like, hey, it's been a long time. And it's like, I don't know. Why are you talking to me? Will you? What the hell?
You look at him and go,
Tim Hortons.
Who are you?
For breakfast. And there they are. Like
later on that day, you get your car tires changed and they're working there. Are you spying on me? No, it was just kind of funny. And I thought the characters, I mean, it was a little much having to be the villains, they're the
bad guy,
bad guy versus the good guy at the very end, where they fought each other as Turbo Man, and that was kind of weird. The way that they that's where I think that the parade is where it fell apart, in my opinion. Like that
Agreed.
part
It
on
was
is
it
where
was
it was just
it
kind of
was
like
all good until the parade part, and then it gets
mm.
pretty whacked. Yep. Agreed.
It would be funnier if, you know, like we have parent brain too, we're all over the place. You've got a ton of shit going on. It'd be even more funny if the end of the movie he realizes that he already did buy it. Like he's like he's putting it under the tree. They're opening the gifts the next morning. He's all depressed. The dad's all depressed because he didn't actually get it. And he's telling the kid after he's opening his last gift, he's trying to tell him before, you're like, hey, by the way, I'm really sorry I didn't get it. And he opens it, he's there. He's like, oh
There it is.
shit, I did buy it in November. Like he just completely
It's
forgot
like
that
a
he bought it.
Christmas Vacation where he reaches in and pulls out that one covered in dust. Like, oh crap, that's been riding around in the back of the car for like 3 months.
That's what I got at that store that day. Why did I not remember this? Because he's an absentee. I say absentee, but he was just a busy dad and all that stuff. And seeing that, but that story is a very common story in holiday movies and any movies where it's the dad who realizes he works too much and does this. I mean, it's the
Right.
Santa Claus we talked about. That's another thing where the dad's always working at the toy store.
Doesn't listen to the kid. Yeah, the
Yeah,
kid's like,
and all
oh,
that stuff.
everything
And
I want
so
to do is stupid. So
yeah, and so the same. That's a very common story. And also, like, what the hell, man? Not all dads are like this. We remember we like our kids. We don't work too hard. Just like, what the hell? Arnold Schwarzenegger is giving us a bad name. No, and then the consumerism part of it, which it's hard to me to say. Like, people spend money at the stores, like Galactic Comics. Please do that for Christmas. However, it's the meaning of the thing.
Support
It's
small business.
the whole idea of the thought that counts. Like most kids, including how the characters, Jake Lloyd's age in that movie, probably would have understood if his dad's like, I tried so hard to get it, I just couldn't get it. Like the kid would be sad, but I think he'd understand a little bit.
We had this like heart-wrenching Christmas. So we always have like Santa brings the girls a present they get to open, and it's like what they asked for, and then like they have a big present mom and dad gets, and there's my wife recording, Liz is recording the Santa present opening, and Emma has this vanity. She rips open this huge thing. It's this vanity that was all set up, and she's all excited, and Katie got exactly what she wanted. She ripped it open, she's all excited, and Charlotte opens hers and is like trying not to cry so hard. She was like she must have been like 7 maybe, and she's trying not to cry, and like, what'd you get? And she holds up this thing because she'd asked for this toy,
Yeah,
but it wasn't like exactly what she wanted. But we had struggled to find exactly what she wanted, and because she wanted like this like a real baby or an American Girl doll baby or something. And like Liz and I had hunted this thing down and like had to like buy we had to buy like a used one because you couldn't even find a regular one. And there was that horrible Christmas moment of like, and you can't tell her that the next package she opens has what she really wanted in it. But for her, Santa had let down and brought her this thing she asked for, but wasn't exactly what she wanted. And I always see it, and I have it. It comes up every Facebook, like on this day, our Christmas day. There's Charlotte, like trying not to cry. Yeah, she's holding it, and
just like a mugshot. She's like,
I'm like, oh boy, I say so always remember that one.
well, that becomes a difficult thing. I mean, what? So I want to get. I've had this discussion with Taylor. We're not really iPad parents at the moment. I mean, no, he's 3.5. He has an iPad that literally has like 6 movies on it that we put on it, and that's all that's on it. And that's literally just like we're in the car or something like that. I honestly call it his TV. It's portable TV. There's no games on it, nothing like that on it. And that's because it's like, first of all, it's like the first iPad. Like it's like you have to like
you put too much more on it, it's gonna be nothing will load anyway.
It's got one of those 30-pin connector old school iPod chargers to it that we have to like find. Like one's falling apart because I can't find to buy them. But and so I've had this debate like, okay, we could obviously, this thing sucks, and the movies are on there, they're old, so on and so forth. And I'm like, I have the ability for like him to, you can't put Disney Plus on it, you can't put Netflix on it because it's too old. Right. And so I was like, what if we were to get a new iPad for him, or like not a new one, but like get one that's
get him one that has stuff. Yeah, right.
And then I can at least get it on it. We can still turn off the Wi-Fi. We can still turn off all the stuff. I can still go to Disney Plus because you can download off of Disney Plus to the iPad, put those on there and do that kind of thing. But he had more options. And we're back and forth on it. I would like to do that. Taylor doesn't want to. Yeah. And so on and so forth. And then it becomes like, someone's like, oh, get it for him for Christmas. I'm like, but I don't want that to be Like, I don't want it to be a celebration of this thing. I honestly, what I want to do
Right.
is just throw the other one away and then replace it with this one and not even say
Don't even
anything.
tell him, yeah, just let him
And just
like
see what happens. Be like, what's going on here? Be like, oh, it's just
there's
a
new
new case
movies
for your
on here.
iPad, and make it so that's not a big deal because I don't want. I want other things to be the big thing
Yeah.
and big stuff, and that the technology. Because I mean, the problem is I love technology. I love movies, so it's like I
Yeah.
want that to be something that he loves too. And
Yeah,
so
you want to
that's
share
the
that with him for sure.
battle of
Yeah.
what we want to get him. He asked for clothes this year, so that's interesting. I'm like, okay, 3-year-old asking for
Oh, but
clothes.
what the heck, dude? I could use some underwear and some
Yeah,
fresh
please,
socks.
and more socks. Yeah, please, with some deodorant. But yeah, it's an
It's not
interesting
too
thing
much.
about.
Maybe you can get a toothbrush in there for me too.
And my parents tried to at the end there, you know, as I grew up and got older, my parents tried to have me have it be like Christmas being few gifts, and then like our birthdays would go buck wild on because it's like that's the day for you, that's the day to celebrate you, that's the
Your
you know,
day.
yeah, and all that stuff. Plus, it makes it easier for a parent if your
If you
kids are
got
spread
multiple
out.
kids and stuff, yeah, for
Like
sure.
my 2 kids are born in March and in May, so at least that's 2 big months, and then December.
Yeah.
But if it's like all of that plus your spouse plus everybody else on
We
Christmas,
have friends that have Christmas and then all three of their children were born in January.
yeah, screw that, man.
It's just like no, so I was save up all year and have enough money to like buy a car, and that's what you're doing for the entire spread of December, January is just
And
Christmas
see, the
birthday.
problem with it is in the industry you work in or you have, is there are some people who are going to go in there and buy gifts for their loved ones from you. Like it's just your
Yeah.
retail store. But there's also the people out there who pause on buying things from themselves at your spot
Yep.
to buy
They're like,
for other
well,
people.
normally I would grab like 20
Correct.
books this week, but I'm only gonna be
Yes.
able to do 5 because
And so
yeah,
there
and
are people are
I feel
replacing
like
things.
it's hard in this world too, of what I do and like where everyone comes to because we're comic nerds. We know we love this stuff. It's what we want. But overall, most families don't entirely get that.
Yeah.
Like some people, I mean, you got a gift card to a different comic store because they know you like comics, but they don't even know which comic store you go to, right? And like the more often than not, people don't come in and they're like, oh, like I have an exact list of like trade paperbacks and comics and stuff that they're looking for. Sometimes it's usually gift cards, but it's tough. And a lot of people also don't want to just get somebody a gift card. You want to get somebody that gift. So last year, and we're doing it again this year, has been having our regulars set up Christmas wish lists.
Mm-hmm.
And then their like families can come in, their significant others, their spouses, their parents, whatever, could come in and get those items specifically.
Yeah.
And we give them an extra discount for shopping with us instead of just going on Amazon or whatever. So that's been our trying to have a solution to it, because most overall your significant other or your parents that don't know exactly what the hell it is you want. And I hate that one too, because I get asked that. They're like, oh, my husband comes here all the time. What's he want? And I'm like, I don't know. He buys everything he wants that I'm aware of. Like,
Well, that's the
sometimes
thing, like,
somebody might say, oh, I really want this like Lock and Key set. Like I'd love to read Lock and Key and it'd be really cool, but I don't want to invest the money in buying the whole book set. So you're like, well, this is a big thing they wanted. Or like an autographed book on the wall or something. But more often than not, people are like, oh man, I want this. Mine, pick it up, gone.
It's very common in that sense. Like but I had to do that this year because I have a list of comics, obviously, that are like wish list comics, big comics that I've wanted, that are not always available at your shop either. It's not like you can just go in there and get something. The first
I had
appearance
that
or something.
where a wife came in for her husband on his birthday, and she's like, he gave me a list of 5 things. He hands to me, and I'm like, these are all Grail items that I don't have. Like you barely ever find. Like he did not give you the easy things to go get you. Like,
so I have that list, right? That's an easy one to send out because again, those are ones that I'm not just gonna buy randomly. But then the other one is like I have like books. I have a book list, like on Amazon. I have a wish list that's all books. And what I did this year was I separated it, and I was like, these are the books that I put on a wish list for. I would do Secret Santa. So I say Secret Santa it's Secret Santa, but it's not really secret. We all know who has each other. We just pick names out of a hat, kind of thing.
Right.
So my side of the family, my mom and my dad and them, and then Taylor's mom and stepdad and her sisters and all that stuff. Those are separate Christmas things. And I get one person, they get, so I have 2 people to buy for in the extended family plus my family. It helps with the budget. It helps with everything else and all that stuff. So I put this list together, and I put 5 books, like novels on that list. They're like, Justin, do not buy these between now and Christmas. Like the rest, there's way more books I need or want. Like there's hundreds of
Yeah.
books that I want. Here's the 100 books that I'm okay to buy. I can go to BAM tomorrow, buy it. I can go
Look
to
at it.
downtown Briar Patch and
You know
buy
what?
it.
You need a fix, you
These
can get
5, do not buy until December 26th, just in case someone buys them for you. Because I want to make sure that like I'm actually getting a book on the day that I'm like, oh shit, I have to return the other one or whatever. And so like told myself, I'm like, it's so stupid why I put on a wish list. This is what I want, and then I buy off that wish list because it's inevitable someone will buy that book that you just bought.
Oh, 100%.
Especially if it's the least expensive one, because you're like, oh, I could do that in my budget, and then they're like, well, I only have this budget, and then you buy the most cheapest book that's on there, and now you both, so I did that this year. I'm like, okay, nope, gotta be able to, whatever. The big thing to me too is like you have a number of customers in there who have books in their pull boxes that haven't been picked up yet either. That's a way to just go in there.
Yeah, you could just go and grab.
Like honestly, you do it like December 23rd, so that like it's so close to Christmas that they won't notice it. But then you go in there, you buy a couple things, you put it in a bag, and you give it to them so that they know that their box is empty or whatever. Like it's a nice feeling to have an empty box.
Go in and be like, oh,
and so
there's all the goodies in
it. Yeah. And that to me is at least something. Because you could just go buy a gift card and someone could buy stuff out of the box, but like at least that's a physical something you can give them on.
Yeah, you
on
got
Christmas.
that present. They open it up and hey, cool. Yep.
Yeah, but like here's the deal: in our area, we live in the Bangor, Maine area, right? Amazon is not 2 days anymore. Like it's 2 days. They'll take it, ship it. It takes 2 days to get here. They ship it 2 days. It takes 2 days to get here, but it might not ship for a week. And so there's that. So getting closer to Christmas is going to be even worse because of shipping and backlogs and all that stuff. So if you're like the week before Christmas or the week of Christmas and you want to get that graphic novel trade, whatever, it's stupid to buy it on a retail store or a big box store. You got to come to a place like you. And so in the same sense as like now is the time to let you know it too. This is coming out December 11th. So this is too late maybe, but now is the time to let you know to get that in stock too if you don't have it, because now is the time to say, they want.
That's like I have
buy the
learned
Last Man
now,
Volume 1.
We're on year 5 of Galactic Comics' store.
Yeah,
I think I've learned pretty well about stocking up in this time of year of like the items I might not normally order. Things like omnibus, big collections. And I go through and pick, the higher end hardcover books and stuff like that. And where I normally wouldn't stock that throughout the year, I stock it this time of year. And I try to have them there. So when someone comes in and can say different characters like, oh, I know he's really wanted to start reading Conan.
Yeah.
Well, normally I wouldn't have Conan, but right now I've got the hardcover omnibus right here.
Paul looks at him and goes, why?
Yeah. No, that sounds thrilling. Have at it. Yeah, where there's those books like we're always gonna have, if they come in, they're like, oh, he's mentioned Something's Killing the Children 1,000 times. Well, we always have that. That's or I try to always have it as long as it's in print. But this time of year I'll also order the Something's Killing the Children omnibus and have it on the shelf.
Yeah.
So I think I've gotten better at that. Where like we had some Christmases in the past that people would come in that last week before, and they'd be like, oh, I really want to get them something specific or something like. Here's a list, and I'm like, well, we have none of this left.
Yeah.
Or I never would have ordered this big item in the first place. So I think we're improving on that. We're getting better at knowing and having a selection of that stuff.
Well, I also think that you're the shop that people, the trades, the omnibuses, the comics, the Grail comics or signed comics or unique things or artwork behind you. Those kind of things, what you'd like. People are gonna tend to buy your Funko Pops, so the I'd say cheesy, but the more trinket type things, at your Amazons, your Targets. But like you see that a lot more where people are like, "Oh, I'm at Target already. I'll just grab that Funko Pop." So like it's harder to sell probably a lot of those stuff nowadays. Anyway, but here's the deal: your prices are just as equally as good as. It's not like you're gonna. This is not a premium store in the sense that like a Funko Pop on your shelf that's a Mandalorian Funko Pop, whatever. Is not going to be like
I'm not upcharging for the fact that it's here or whatever.
And I'll guarantee you if it's $11.99 at Target and Paul has it for $13.99, I almost guarantee you that Paul will do $11.99 just because it makes the most sense to have you come in and do all that stuff. So not saying Paul's going to do price matches all around, but I'm just saying like mention it because at least at that point we might be like, you know what, it's Christmas, let's sell it and get it out of there, stuff like that. But so like Christmas consumerism is a thing. It's a big, it's I like this season.
The beginning of this movie is great for showing that, like, and a little like that little like off-putting thing where the first toy store finally opens the door. The guy's making him wait 2 minutes, and he finally opens the door, and then you see him like trampled. And then to know that that actually happened and a person died, a retail store employee died, getting trampled to death by all these people. So now that's a little like, that was funny in 1996. Now it's a little like,
But we also seen that, like, I worked Best Buy. I worked Best Buy during many Black Fridays. I want to say I worked at least 5 or 6, maybe 7 Black Fridays, getting up super early and being there and being the employees. And funny thing about that whole, like, it's not time yet is true, people. We want that extra 2 minutes. It's only 2 minutes. Yeah, but it's 2 minutes before I have to go home at 10 o'clock at night and been here all day dealing with your bullshit.
2 minutes
like,
for me
give
to
me 2 minutes.
Wake up a little bit.
I'm gonna drink my coffee.
You know, crap. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, let me open. I'm gonna open
get this stupid display open that I need to get on the sales floor.
I'm gonna open 2 minutes late if I need to, because guess what? You were gonna wait.
This is funny. After we got when I ran the auto parts store and we got bought out, we were a privately owned like company owned store, and then we got bought out by this big box auto parts store, and they started having Black Friday pushes for us, and I'm like, what? Are you freaking serious?
Get your muffler today.
We want stores open at 5 a.m. I'm like, who the hell is going to an auto parts store on Black Friday? And sure enough, crickets, like nothing. Nobody came in at all. And one of our biggest customers was a tire place, and they do this big Black Friday tire thing, which means all day long they're assessing, installing, and putting on tires. Yeah. They do not have time to buy other parts.
No.
They're not buying like brake pads and ball joints and stuff. So they also had this, like, we need to match their hours because they're a national place. So you ought to be open and ready to go for them. And you're sitting there and, like, they're not calling you. They're putting tires on. And tires don't relate to anything else. So here we were in this auto parts store sitting there. Like, it was funny. I would message my team. Like, I would have the day off. And I'd message the people working. I'm like, hey, do you guys have a line? And they're like, oh, like, line, right? Like, there's nobody. Such a
we're already into the eggnog there, Paul. You know,
no, have at it, boys. Have at it.
It was one of those weird things, and it was like everything was gone. This is not like, that's the fun part about this movie, and it's one of those things when your kid gets older, like you said, your kids are watching this movie. It's like, this is a truthful thing. People did wait. People did seek after it.
This is a look in time now, right? Yeah, like this is like a look back in time of like, this is what it was like.
And people do. I mean. Yeah, now it's not much. And here's the deal. Yeah. I saw a meme that was like, okay, world, we all have big screen TVs now. Okay?
Yeah, put groceries on.
You put groceries on sale.
Put groceries on sale. Give us what we really want, man.
It's true. It's that
Mark
thing.
Down the peanut butter.
And nowadays it's like, you know, like we mentioned before, are we ever going to have that flocking to one specific item around the holidays? It's like this because of the fact that I think most of them are strategic about it. I think most of them strategically put it out in March or April or May or June, July, August, somewhere in that time to have a second push on it.
You get that whole, like, have the craze, right? But in this day and age too, like, you know so well, generally, which items are going to need to be purchased, what's going to sell, what's wanted. Stores have such a better, like, grasp of this through tracking and through sales trends and this and that, like, if you're a market, why would you limit an item? If you can sell 5 million of them at Christmas time, you're going to have 5 million of them. Mm-hmm. They're like the whole, like, idea of now that, oh, geez, we sold out at 1 million and, we probably could have sold 5 million. It doesn't really happen anymore. More often than not, they have it all ready to go.
With shipping, trucking, online stores, online deliveries. I mean, like I wanted a new rice maker last night, rice cooker, and I could have ordered it from Walmart and had it brought to my house that day. And it would have come from the Walmart in town. It's not like it comes from some warehouse. So with that ability nowadays too,
here you go.
over ordering is not an issue anymore, because the fact that like if you ordered 1,000 items and on the holiday season you sold 700 of them, the corporate company is going to take 150, 200 of those things back from you and put them in their corporate warehouse so they can send them online, because there's a way to sell. Like back when this came out,
just
Turbo
go
Man,
straight out of store to the online.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, all that
Turbo Man and
crazy
all that stuff. It was not, the internet wasn't this like massive thing. Retail stores on the internet. I mean, eBay was founded in 1995. So this movie came out a year later. So the story is based on, the idea it's based on is prior to that. So like, it wasn't a big thing to shop online
I'd say
at the
probably
time.
your biggest scarcity now you have literally is Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, because there's only so much of it, and it comes out, and you get a lot more. Like, grandma now wants to go buy a booster box for the kids or what have you that you might not normally sell, and it's just not there.
Yeah.
Like, and that's probably one of the few items that still has that relative scarcity. Because I mean, like, say, electronics they're gonna be there if you want them, they're there,
And
like
they're
all of
not
that.
they're evergreen. It's not like you're gonna put an item out in December and have it not be still active in January. So
Yeah, it
you
doesn't
still have it
count.
on the shelf.
It's
It's
almost
not.
like print material, like
Yeah.
because books are now more print to order,
Yeah.
so that if there's a big book that happens to hit the shelves in November, there is that potential that the bookstore sell out of them and they don't get a replenishment because they're back to print again. Those are the items that might be more likely to be scarce nowadays
Yeah.
than your toys or your rice cooker or your whatever,
Yeah. I also trying to think of like what
espresso
toys that are
machine.
even going to be. That's like most of the toys nowadays that I see are related around some sort of intellectual property or Paw Patrol, all that stuff. I don't think
Yeah.
it's not like
Yeah, and
there's a Paw Patrol toy that's making it. Like Tickle Me
oh,
Elmo was based off
yeah.
of intellectual property, but it's like it was a specific thing about how it did something technological. The next
That
thing will
other
be
things
some sort
hadn't
of
really done.
VR or some sort of animatronic thing. That's like that. There's nothing that these things are doing that are crazily unique to the fact that they're in. And so there's that too. And the modern technology will be an iPad or an iPhone, and that just came out. And so it's like they don't need to worry about, like, if someone wants a new iPhone for Christmas, it came out in September. They're just getting it and ordering it and putting it under the tree. It's not like, and so like those kind of things are different. And so that's what this movie is. It's going to be one of those things when my kid at 3.5 gets to the point where he's 10, 12, 13, 14 years old and can really digest what's going on in this movie, is the fact that he's going to be like, really?
I don't get it. Yeah,
I don't understand this whole concept.
Like, this is going to be a movie that later on is going to have to be explained to kids. Like, it's like watching Seinfeld and how many episodes of Seinfeld don't make sense now with the cell phones. Like, and that's where you're at. You have to explain to them, well, that stuff didn't exist back then. Or, yeah, it really was like this. There really was this crazy Christmas rush. Yeah, so I guess I think this movie has some staying power for the fun of that. Where
the nostalgic part,
it's got like, it surprised me that it got such bad reviews. I mean, it's cheesy, but it's a Christmas movie. Most of them are cheesy.
Also glad in the comic book sense of things that it's Turbo Man, this make believe fake character that was made for this movie, that was made to show the whole consumerism, the waiting in line, the missing out on the option, and they didn't just do it's the sponsored one nobody wants is on the show, Sesame Street. Like they didn't do this being a Sesame Street. They didn't
have the real toy. It didn't have the Tickle Me Elmo missing, and you couldn't find it.
And that would have been so, I don't know, in your face advertising.
Yeah.
To me, that it was just like them trying to push this idea that they're popular and so on and so forth by creating this character that really doesn't exist and making it thing. And then they could have, I would love to see a comic book based off of it. Let's do a Turbo Man Christmas holiday special. That's an animated holiday special that shows up on Disney Plus that you can watch. That's Turbo Man's Christmas, and it's literally just like a Star Wars holiday special or a
him buying the flea treatment for the sidekick there. What the hell's nobody likes you, Booster. No one likes you, Booster.
I love that they kick its ass anyway too. Like they kick off the
down he goes. We hate you, Booster.
I also love the fact that they drove to a parking lot to park and got to the parade no problem. There wasn't like traffic. There wasn't like
that was fun. Well, everybody was there already.
Way late, and they were there on time, and they were like, "Yeah, here we go. We're good to go."
Right? Yeah, we're fine. Yeah, really.
But no, so like I said, it's a holiday movie that's not ever gonna land in someone's top 10. I don't think this is one of those movies that's
I bet there's some people out there this is their favorite Christmas movie just because of the silliness and the whatever and the timing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like for this movie coming out, if you were 7 years old, 8 years old, this was like the epitome of it. I'm sure somebody out there this is their favorite Christmas movie.
So I was trying to see what the longevity of it and so what the people do, like so in Wikipedia they have like a little like critical response and box office thing. IGN said that this is one of the few holiday movies that directly deals with commercialization of Christmas, which is actually pretty unique in that sense.
It's sort of like this, and then like Christmas with the Cranks doesn't necessarily have that, but it has the whole like not doing the Christmas thing.
Same
But
same
it didn't have
producer.
same producer, but it didn't have the whole like shopping aspect of it
Mhm.
necessarily.
It won favorite supporting actor, Sinbad, in the Blockbuster Entertainment Awards.
Really?
It
Hey,
won
good
the
for them.
Golden Camera Awards, Best International Actor for Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it was nominated for a Razzie for Worst Director.
Oh,
And Stinker's Bad Movies Awards, it was rated or nominated for Most Painfully Unfunny Comedy, Worst Actor for Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Worst Supporting Actress for Rita Wilson.
wow, that is rough, man. That is rough. I don't think that's fair. There's definitely I've seen so many movies that are so much worse than this. We've watched movies that are so much worse
And
than
I
this.
haven't seen it yet, but including the sequel to this movie, it's probably worse than this
Yeah.
movie. So
Oh God,
no,
yeah,
you're
that's
right
not
though. There's
holy
hundreds
hell.
and hundreds of Christmas movies overall, if you think about it. And
No, it's
in the
all of these
grand scheme of
Hallmark made for
things,
movies that are like my wife loves them and they're awful. Like they're
Mhm.
just really bad.
But this isn't, to me, like I said, going to be a regular. Like there's the Home Alones, the Christmas Vacations, the
Yep.
Miracle on
Christmas
34th
Story.
Street, all of those movies that end up on
Yep.
someone's top 10, top 20 movies because they're just like the classics you go to, and it's those movies.
Yeah.
This one's one of those ones that's kind of like some people watch it, some people don't watch it, some people like it, some people don't like it. It's kind of in the middle, and because of that, I gave it 2.5 stars. So
We
like,
watch this movie every year. I say that there's been years that like Christmas snuck up on us and we were busy, and this was definitely on the cut list, like the ones that you must watch and the
Mhm.
ones that yeah okay, um, and like we've dropped this one from the list before because we just didn't have time. That being said, um, dude, I think I go 3.5 on this movie.
Mhm.
I think I go 3.5, and I almost and I almost want to give it a 4. Like it's a fun movie. Take it for what it is. Don't overthink it. I do think it gets pretty hokey when you get to the parade section.
Yeah.
Like up till the parade section is pretty hokey. The bomb scene is like goofy
Mhm.
with the cop. But overall, man, it's really fun. Like
Yes, it's one of those ones you don't have to think much about. It's fun. It's got the
yeah,
family. It's got emotion. It's got comedy. It's got some good scenes. Good acting is, I wouldn't say the greatest in the world, but it's got good
doesn't
actors in it.
have
Like
to
it's got
be
names.
though.
You got names you
Yeah,
can
this
see, and you
movie
can
doesn't have to have great
no,
acting.
no.
If this had had that scene in it of like, come here, Jamie, Dad did the best he could, like it would have been horrible. That would have just like sunk. But with just the goofiness and Arnold and the Turbo Man suit and all that, it works. It's fine. Like, yeah, if this had had a heartfelt, deep moment, it probably would have come across much worse.
Mhm.
But because the whole thing doesn't take itself seriously ever, it works.
So here you go. Hold on. I was trying to look something up here. I think it worked. I think that. Hold on. I was trying to do this 12.6. Oh, not 1913. 96. Is that what it was?
Yeah, 96.
96 to 2004. Okay. That can't be right. Yes. So I was trying to look this up and see what the thing is. So Joker Foley, I can't Foley do the sequel to Joker.
Oh yeah.
That's horrible.
I have not seen.
Did $37.8 million on opening weekend domestically.
It's honestly more than I would have thought it did.
Okay.
All
Hold
right.
on. So 2019 box office blockbuster opens October 4th to the 6th with $37.8 million. Adjusted for inflation, this movie did $25 million opening week. So like it's not that far off of the fact that this Joker sequel like
What surprised me is that I was reading opening weekend this came out. It finished 4th behind a Star Trek movie
mhm.
and 2 other random ones, and I was like, I'm
Well,
surprised.
so yeah,
when
so
did this
Star
movie
Trek
release?
First Contact, Space Jam. Okay,
Space Jam. Well,
Space Jam.
Jam's huge. Like
Yeah, and the Ransom is with
Is that Mel Gibson?
Mel Gibson. So like
Okay.
it opened up against a Mel Gibson movie, Space Jam, and a Star Trek movie, and it finished fourth. So like
I'm surprised Star Trek took first overall. Personally, that one surprised me, but whatever.
I mean, Space Jam went on to do 250 million.
Yeah.
First Contact went on to do 146 million,
And-
which is only $17 million more than this movie made.
And this movie came out in October.
in November.
Yeah,
Ransom went
okay,
on to move
November. So it was the
409
right. It
million.
was the right time for this movie to come out.
Yeah.
Then, like that's
Ransom
the right
did.
time.
Sorry, Ransom did $309 million. So it was actually the most successful movie out of all of those.
Wow.
It did $75 million budget. It recouped its $75 million budget in the first 10 days of its release.
Yeah. So
So,
I mean, yeah, financially it did fine.
and my guess is that released on DVD the following year.
I assume so.
Because that's how
Yeah.
it typically used to do. Because obviously it doesn't make sense to put
Yeah.
a Christmas DVD out in March.
Yeah, who cares? Yeah,
Yeah.
no one would
So
care.
that's why I'm always sucks about these movies that are in theaters. If you don't get to see them in Christmas movies, you're like, oh, it's like when Fred Claus came out.
No,
I really
the
wanted
next
to see
one.
that movie. I had to wait till the following year to see it because
Fred Claus is fun.
streaming changes a little bit. Like I would love for these movies that come out in like November to have them like on Christmas Eve hit streaming, even if it hit streaming for like the night, and they
Right.
like, just so people could watch it and you have to pay for it, even if you have to pay for it, but just like so that you can watch it this Christmas if you don't make it to the theaters, and then take it away from streaming and then put it out next year on DVD or whatever.
Right.
But like, you know,
Did you see the original casting or who was potentially casted as the Sinbad character?
no,
Was Joe Pesci. I love Joe Pesci. I don't know. I could have seen him in it, like way too goofy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like you already had Joe Pesci in Home Alone and Home Alone 2. I feel like it would have been like a weird, almost like it would have felt like a weird Christmas cop out, like just trying to have Joe Pesci in every Christmas movie. I also don't like. I don't know if I could see him and Arnold in
Yeah,
so
I don't
many
know.
scenes.
yeah,
I saw it and I was like, nope. Like I love Joe Pesci in movies and stuff, but like I don't think I could have seen him in this.
he's also 5'3", and they said Schwarzenegger's 6'2", so it would have been funny. But he says that Arnold Schwarzenegger's actually been in 2 movies with Danny DeVito, who's even shorter, and it was
Yeah.
fine. So,
Yeah, 'cause
and
they
then the
played
other,
twins. But that was the
Yes.
point of the movie.
yeah, the other
Yeah.
fun fact was that Sinbad improvised majority of his lines. A lot of those things that he said, and then that Arnold
That's pretty
Schwarzenegger
good.
also improvised many of his responses to his conversations with him.
That's
So,
pretty good. Well, that helps
yeah.
you give more of a natural flow, I think.
mhm.
Like, that's pretty good. Yeah, I think Sinbad was the right choice.
I think so too. Again, I'm not a huge fan of his acting. I just don't like Sinbad, but I think it worked in this movie. I think it was like
Yeah,
one of
this
those
movie
things
is
that
great.
like
Yeah, I don't want to.
it fit the character. But yeah, so Jingle All the Way. Don't. I guess I'm gonna tell you right now. I haven't seen it, but don't watch the second one.
I think we have to watch the second one now,
I'm
even
going
if it's
to.
just to come together and be like, all right, well, that happened.
Well, that
Like,
was
we
also
saw
that
it.
definitely them using the popularity of Larry the Cable Guy at the time.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
To
Definitely.
make a
I
movie.
can't believe it's done by WWE Studios.
Yeah.
God Almighty.
Is that even a thing anymore?
Whoa. I
Probably.
doubt it. I feel
yeah,
like
so-
they did because then they do like they had the Marine or whatever with John
Yeah.
Cena. I think that was theirs, and like they definitely had just different wrestlers in movies. But
Let's finish this off with this. It's now 1996. We're 2 years away from the 30th anniversary of this movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Reboot. Think someone like John Cena, The Rock, as
Right.
the dad, like doing this
Right.
like this big hulky like different kind of person could work. I think that'd be kind of
Yeah.
fun. I'm trying to think of like a Zach Galifianakis as the neighbor Phil Hartman.
yeah, that's good casting.
because
Yeah.
he'd be like this weird, creepy, but like funny dude. I think that'd be a good one. And then I don't know who the or Ryan Reynolds as the neighbor because he'd be super attractive
Oh my God, that would
and he
actually
could
be
play that
perfect.
character.
And Ryan Reynolds being the guy that like you sort of hate because he's
Yes.
just good looking, hitting on all the single moms, saying, yeah, actually that'd be
And
great.
then maybe Zach Galifianakis is Sinbad's character. That'd be kind of funny too. Like I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like
weird guy you don't want to keep running into.
But here's the deal, Paul. I would 100% watch a reboot of this. Like
Yeah.
it would be 100%. It's just like I don't feel like this is one of those protected ones you shouldn't do. Like this would be funny instead of doing the sequel with Larry the Cable
Yeah.
Guy. I think just rebooting the whole thing and have
Yeah.
it be. And at this point, I don't mind it being a Tickle Me Elmo because it's so far. It's 30 years after that came out.
You know,
like the
you could
Tickle Me
have
Elmo thing.
you could have the like retro toy,
Yeah.
the thing that they wanted that got big again, the Tamagotchi, the
Yeah.
Tickle Me Elmo, the Furby. It's
So
funny.
whatever
A
one of those
friend of
ones
my
would sign on.
daughter's, a friend of Emma's loves Furbies,
Mhm.
and like we had to go on like eBay and order her like. I think we were on eBay ordering her like retro Furby shirts and stuff for her birthday because you can't find this stuff. Like there isn't a whole hell of a lot of Furby out there. And I'm like, how did this kid even? She had to have found it like in like her mom's and like grandma's attic or whatever, and then it's like, oh, this is cool, and then became obsessed with them.
Yeah.
I think we ordered her. They used to have Furby McDonald's toys, like you push their tail and their eyes moved or whatever, or their ears moved, and we got her some of those to go with it. But like we had to go buy retro because what the kid wanted doesn't exist anymore in the grand scheme of things. So like that actually sort of fun. You know, they're running around, going to these collectible places. They have that one store that guy wants $1 million for the Tickle Me Elmo in the box.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know. Like,
well, that's like you could do both sides. You could do the current thing.
I think we're writing Jingle All The Way 2026. Like,
well, here's the deal. So there was a Reddit thread.
Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne Johnson, get ready.
Ready? There's a Reddit thread I just found. 2 people said John Cena should be the Arnold Schwarzenegger character.
Yeah.
But here's an even better one I saw. Dwayne Johnson as the Arnold Schwarzenegger character and Kevin Hart as the Sinbad character, because they go so well together, and they go so the whole back and forth thing, and it would be so hilarious.
You would be able to like have a very loose script and just let the 2 of them.
And can you imagine him being the Sinbad character doing the rant about how like,
oh my god,
oh god, that would be hilarious.
Everybody but me.
It'd be funnier if he was like stepped on a couple of boxes so he saw eye to eye, and then they zoom out and he's with him. He zoom out. He's like, "Can you get down?" But I think that would be hilarious, and I think that would be one of those things. But that's like one of the things. It's like Jingle All the Way in the zeitgeist of Christmas movies enough for people to be like, "Is it worth it to make it?" If you made it again, you'd have to do it with someone like those 2 characters or like big names. You couldn't just do it with nobody because the names would sell it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you can't do this with like your B cast or even like unknowns, and nobody would care.
So I'm saying Dwayne Johnson as the main character, Arnold Schwarzenegger. We got Kevin Hart as the Sinbad character, and then you got Ryan Reynolds as the neighbor. Yeah, it's perfect. And then we got to find the kid. The kid's got to be someone great. It's probably gonna have to be someone from like Stranger Things or some sort of popular kids character that we don't know about.
The older kid. That wants this thing. Yep.
No, we're gonna have to put like some older, like some definitely older kid, like some older kid that plays a young kid. Someone's got like facial hair and he's playing like a 6-year-old. No, I don't know who it would be, but maybe bring Jake Lloyd back and have him play a teenager. Oh, no, I think it's fine. So it's 2.5, 3.5, 3 stars, right around there. It's a middle of the ground Christmas movie. It's not the greatest and it's not the worst, and I think it has some highlighted moments that are absolutely funny, and I actually laughed out loud watching it. Some cringeworthy moments. You're like, God, that's kind of weird. And it's got Anakin Skywalker in it, so like, I guess you're, in a Blues Brother.
There's the important part. Right there.
And a former governor of California. Done. See it right there.
And the WCW heavyweight champion.
Oh God, you can't stop. But if you're looking for last minute Christmas gifts and you live in the Bangor area, even if you don't live in the Bangor area, Paul will get it out to your house, ship fast, quick if you need it.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
GalacticComicsandCollectibles.com. Galactic Comics and Collectibles on Hammond Street in Bangor. Social media, all that stuff and stuff like that.
All that stuff.
It's Christmas season. I do think this is the year of the comic book, of the trade paperback. Please, people. It's so much fun to hand someone a trade paperback or a trade paperback. Yeah. I'm a big single floppy issues, that, but like collected stories for a Christmas present so you can read it Christmas night.
Awesome. Yeah,
whatever is great. So there's a lot of good ones out there that are really good. Like I mentioned, the Road one, if you want to buy some for an adult. I have this, This Land Is Our Land is a great young adult.
Oh, young adult. I think we gave, I personally gave out 4 copies of 8 Billion Genies last year.
Yeah, there you go. 8 Billion Genies would be great.
Great book for anyone.
That's an all-around title. You got some horror stuff out there. Something's Killing the Children. Stray Dogs is great. You just read that. Feral Volume 1 would be great if you like animal lovers. So there's a bunch of stuff out there, and I do think that there's something for everybody if you just Google it. If someone's looking at more history, there's historical trades.
Love Ninja Turtles, but hasn't done turtle stuff for a long time. The Last Ronin.
Yep.
I can't believe how many copies of The Last Ronin we still go through. I'm like, I assume by now everyone in the greater Bangor area owns this book and bought it here, and I'm still selling them. Oh, Ducks. There we go. Yep. Great. Highly recommended book. Yep.
Your Walking Dead fans, you got your Clementine. If you're a Halloween fan, you got Long Halloween. Oh wait, Batman fan, you're Halloween.
Batman. Come on, Batman Long Halloween, the greatest
No, but there's
arc of all time, the greatest story ever told in comics.
We'll finish with this. So it's obviously been a couple of weeks. It's been a month and a half since the announcement, technically, because when this comes out in December, we've been whatever. But Vertigo's back, and guess what else is coming back? Batman Hush. So you got that for you if you want.
You never read the original, man. Batman Hush is fantastic.
But Vertigo's back, people. That's good. I think it's great. So, Merry Christmas, Paul. I mean, we'll be back in a couple of weeks to do some comics of the year. So make sure you get that
of the year.
Make sure you get that written down.
One of the top podcasts, right? That's like one of the
it's a fun one.
Is the book of the year. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I love doing them. I think it's a great one. We go back and forth and stuff that like I forgot or you forgot, we mentioned, and yeah, it's great. And what we're gonna try to do a live one this year, right?
We're trying, live recording,
live studio audience. Yep.
We'll see if we can keep them at bay. We'll have to poke them back with a stick. People flashing us and having us sign things that we don't want to sign, and we have groupies.
Garrett just randomly poking his head on the side.
We have a green room, right? We can use the back room as a green room.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to.
We have to announce us. Someone has to announce us. No one can talk to us until after we get out there. All that stuff. We'll be very, pretentious about our popularity here.
100%.
But it's a great season. Buy comic books and graphic novels and trades and all that stuff for your fans, family members, all that stuff. It's a great gift. I honestly think that people will really enjoy it. So, and if you don't know, ask Paul. Paul could probably give you a little tip on what. If you say, "Oh, I know." They like Born Identity and they like this, that, and the other thing. He might be able to help you, or you're like, like they might be able to give you an idea. Of what
I haven't read I just told somebody this. I haven't read everything in the store, but boy, I've read most of it. So I can help, and I read a lot of different things. So
yes, it's a great thing. And shop local if you can. That's the big thing. So yeah.
Support local.
Merry Christmas, Paul. Jingle All The Way is in the books.
Woo!
We'll be back in 2025 to do a movie review. We're looking forward to it. I know we're doing in February. We're doing Daredevil because they just announced that the Daredevil TV show is coming March. So we'll do it in February. We'll do Daredevil and do the
or Ben Affleck in all of his bad casted movies.
So we'll go back to actually shitting on a movie fully. Like we haven't done that in a couple episodes here. We've done some movies that were pretty good. So we got to go back to fully shitting on a movie. I
can't wait to watch this again because I saw Daredevil in theaters and thought it was like the epitome of superhero movies at the time. So I'm sure now I'm gonna be like, wow, that sucked. But
We'll see. And I have an idea for January, but we'll have to. It's up in the air, so we'll figure that out. Cool. But Paul, peace. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.